But what we're looking for are abnormal moments and red flags. So he was alone in the elevator, yet he went to the corner of the elevator with his back in a corner. And the corner he chose was a corner with the camera, such that the camera showed the top of his head and not his face. So even if there wasn't a camera, that's odd behavior to go in the corner of an elevator, to seek out the corner and go put your back right up against the corner. It tends to mean I'm seeking protection, and I'm a little bit extra careful, maybe not necessarily paranoid, but abnormal behavior when you're alone in an elevator. Because he probably thought there's a camera, he knew where the camera is, he also didn't want his face being shown. He did that multiple times. That might be something, if I was screening for potential nefarious behavior, that I would look for. I would look for someone, why are they behaving abnormally in a room like that? People don't normally do that. And this is just one shot, this particular expression that we all make, and that we make it once in a while, hopefully not too often. It's one expression that we make when we're in disbelief, and usually it's a little bit sarcastic disbelief. We make it when we're feeling arrogant, and hopefully we're not arrogant too much. We also, it's an expression that we make when we're feeling contempt, and again, hopefully we don't feel contempt too much. All three of those emotions have other facial expressions that can be manifested by, but this particular one is where the center forehead is contracted and going up, and there's a little bit of a mouth smile, kind of like this. And if you do it, it makes you feel kind of diabolical. And just your center forehead going up and a little bit of a mouth smile. Again, we all do that once in a while. People that do it a lot, about 4% of the population, have a very low empathy, or maybe no empathy, and they also have very low sincerity, or no sincerity, and the other way of saying that is they're a chronic liar. They may not be lying at this moment now, and that's the secret, is how do you catch a liar when they're not lying? Well, you look for other traits of insincerity. So that center forehead going up, a little bit of a mouth smile, that's a person with low empathy and low sincerity, and that's also got a very high correlation with sociopathic behavior.
Is it something that security personnel or people that work in, say, a casino should be trained on spotting?
Yes, yeah, it's absolutely. Again, we all make it, but people that make it a lot, that's where you put your red flag. That guy should watch, that guy should watch, that guy should watch. And of course, it's not the only nonverbal predictor or predictor in general of sociopathic behavior. And by sociopath, it's more of a common colloquial for antisocial personality disorder. So that's a more scientific way of saying that. But those are also, they have other characteristics go along with them. So there's other things to look for, certainly. But that's a red flag. And it's definitely something that if you can virtually look at all serial killers and they have this expression. This particular shot where he's got his legs crossed and he's kind of, his center of gravity is way off. That's not if I was looking at just that, that wouldn't necessarily set my alarms off too much in the average person, but through the retrospectoscope we can look at that and say, he's feeling some significant anxiety there. There's another one here. He's got his hands in his pockets and he's doing this in the elevator. That's significant for anxiety. Now, we don't know that's a serial killer doing that, but or someone who's planning a crime doing that, but that does show anxiety, and it's anxiety out of context. Telltale facial expression, in particular in the elevator behavior, just was very odd. Again, out of context. But of course, if we were in the elevator with them, we wouldn't necessarily say that, because people usually move to the other side, but they don't necessarily seek a corner. Even if you're one other person and the other person seeks a corner, they usually don't go to the corner if there's one other person, but most people, it wouldn't set off alarm bells. If you're looking from a camera and you're doing that screening process, that would make me think, okay, what's this guy hiding? Look for things that are out of context, that sticks out. Why does that stick out? So anxiety signals out of context like that. But always, always trust your gut. If you're in a situation where there's a potential danger, don't discount that, don't ignore it, don't push it down below your consciousness. Trust your gut. Always, always, always trust your gut. The video I did see, he seemed like he went out of his way to be super casual in a lot of things. And it'll be interesting to see if there's any other video or just maybe social media kind of thing, or personal videos that show over the years that as more gets discovered and released, or maybe more surveillance video. But he seemed like he really went out of his way to make it look casual and make it, take up the luggage. Not all at once, in multiple trips. He really planned it out.
Very calculated. Yeah.
There's not any one thing that says this guy's a killer or whoops, this is an absolute call to police right now kind of behavior. But there are definitely anxiety tells in abnormal behavior to the point where, it depends on your screening level. If you're sit back playing with your phone when you're looking at all these videos, you're going to miss things. It depends on your where you set the attention bar in your head and when you're screening for this kind of behavior. But there's no one thing that said this guy is going to kill someone tonight. But they are things that they fit into patterns of behavior that show anxiety. And again, particularly that facial expression, we just had that one image. So we all make that once in a while. Could we have caught him when he made that? Sure, once in a while, that one time, absolutely. But if we hung around him for a period of time and he made that a lot, again, a guy you don't want to hire, you don't want to date, you don't want him to be your babysitter, etc.